AJ Styles and Dragon Lee have just lost the tag team titles to Bravo and Rayo Americano of a clever interference from El Grande. And it leaves AJ Styles thanking Dragon Lee, but ultimately moving on alone. He feels lost and he feels directionless, and it leads him to a conversation with Cody Rhodes, who, after clarifying that this actually is a legitimate retirement, he says that what he did when he was looking for direction was make a list. That's what AJ does. He makes a list of all the opponents he wants to face before he hangs up the boots, and the name at the top of that list takes him back to the house that AJ Styles built, because with the permission of Aldis and Pierce, he can appear on both shows, and he faces that first name. And of course, it's one of the great matches. These two know each other about as well as anyone, and they pull out all the stops. But it's AJ who in spectacular fashion defeats the Viper and shows that the hands of time haven't quite stopped for him just yet. However, out of nowhere, Orton wants them to, because he snaps and he drops AJ Styles, perhaps feeling the hands of time coming for him as well. However, before he can do the unthinkable, making the save is that man Cody Rhodes, who not only protects the final run of AJ Styles, but he finds himself now looking to protect the WWE from a rampant Orton, which gives Styles the chance to move on down that list and do things his way. And he moves from his generation to the next and enters Ilja Dragunov's open challenge. And to say this tears the house down is an understatement. This is full noise AJ Styles. It's full noise Ilja Dragunov. It's everything we've come to know and love about the Phenomenal One. And this match goes deep, and Styles gets incredibly close. He lifts Dragunov up for a Styles clash, but is exhausted, and Dragunov slips out, and the energy of youth prevails with a Torpedo Moscow, followed by a devastating H-bomb. And Dragunov shows nothing but respect to this legend and thanks him for the honor of sharing the ring with him. And as AJ sits in the corner and ponders, the hands of time look like they're coming quicker than he thought. And a man whose time is actually up is John Cena. And AJ Styles is backstage at his final appearance in Washington, D.C., and Cena has some simple advice for how to go out. And that's to go out against who you want and when you want. And as AJ Styles shows him the list, John Cena just says, "This looks like everything you deserve. But those last two names, you sure?" Cena isn't sure about the final two names, but AJ Styles certainly is sure about what's next. And it's not a name on the list, but the name of a match. And he enters his final ever Royal Rumble. And as fate would have it, there's some history repeated. It's just like how it all begun. Styles and Roman squaring off in the Royal Rumble. And it isn't long before more names from AJ's past hit the match. And he has moments with Finn Balor, who he manages to eliminate, but also manages to extract some respect from, because he knows that this is the last time. And then there's Shinsuke Nakamura, a legendary rival from Japan, who is also bested by Styles, but shows the same respect as Finn. The history runs deep. And it's a very bittersweet moment, because it isn't the past, but it's the future who eliminates AJ Styles. And yet again, the younger generation gets the better of AJ, which increases the doubt in his head even more. And a man who has suffered through the same thing at the end of his career invites him to the Performance Center to get a look at AJ Styles' list himself. Some great names. Those last two, though, that's something else. But I guess once upon a time, I was probably on there, right? You still can be. You just got to say the word. No. I was done a long time ago. Maybe in another life. But I think someone who's right behind you is just getting started. Javon Evans, a young starlet, and he doesn't apologise for eliminating AJ. But he shows him all the respect. But he is brash. And in a move that reminds AJ a lot of himself, he challenges him to a match to prove that he doesn't need a spot handed to him. He wants to prove he can take one. And Michaels has an idea which could bring everything full circle for AJ Styles, and it doesn't involve WWE. It's a special retro-inspired show to honour the legacy of the Phenomenal One, and a main event that is just as exciting as all of the matches he's had in the company previously. It's such a mirror of what AJ was and now is, and the match goes deep. It's a battle of wills decided by the finest of margins and a brilliant counter and an even more spectacular but familiar looking move, which AJ passes on to Javon Evans to use in the future for what will certainly be more and more success. And Javon leaves him in the ring to close the show. He gets the TNA standing ovation that he deserves. He gets the TNA exit the fans always wanted. But as he stands there pondering, that doubt washes over him again. He has the list, but will he even make it through it? Well, he seeks the advice of someone whose career AJ ended himself. And he has some very sage advice. That's a hell of a list of names, AJ. Just make sure you remember to not do what I did. Don't go one more match than you should. That was the biggest thing that I had to come to grips with, was when to give it up. But I know that you're going to know. The last two names on that list, you're going to need to have a hell of a lot of gas left in the tank by then. But if anyone can do it, it's you. Good luck. And this lights a fire under AJ. He knows that he's still here. He knows he's still got gas left in the tank. But with the words of Taker ringing in his ear, he has to make a call. And he's going to take the path of Ric Flair. And he announces that the next time he loses will be the last time he loses. And he looks to tick as many names off the list as he can. The Austrian Reaper, he's here to take one more scalp, and all of a sudden, the hands of time are no longer the biggest threat. It's the hands of Gunther, and they get thrown in a big and brutal way. And AJ has faced him before, but not with this much on the line. And once again, the match goes deep, and every time it has, his body has somewhat failed him. And this is no different. And Gunther locks in the rear naked choke. And Styles' body is failing and fading along with his career. This is it. The Phenomenal One isn't done. He's got gas left in the tank, and he wheels his way out of Gunther's grasp, and the Austrian is rattled because he sees the side of Styles that many haven't been able to stop. It's classic Styles, it's gritty Styles, it's phenomenal, and he defeats Gunther, and he lives to fight another day, and he crosses a huge name off that list. And after a nod of approval, of respect from Gunther, that list whittles down. And AJ Styles' body is the same. And he makes an admission on Raw that he isn't sure if the rest of this list is even possible. But as Undertaker wisely said, he's got to leave nothing in the tank. And he asks for the next man to step up. Two of the greatest of all time in a match we've never seen in WWE. This isn't about AJ defeating the future. AJ has nothing left to prove to anyone except himself. And that is AJ Styles to a fault. He empties the tank in pursuit of being the best in the world. And that has never changed, which is why it's serendipitous, because the match, like the rest, go deep. And both men leave it all out there. And Styles has him exactly where he wants him. And he leaps off, but Punk collapses in exhaustion. And Styles misses. And he struggles to get back to his feet. The tank is empty. And Punk, now up behind him, eyes filled with emotion, knows what this means. But he made a promise. He made a promise that if he got the chance to finish it, he would, and the best in the world does just that. But this isn't a victory. It's now a tribute. Punk shows him love and then leaves him in the ring to soak up the standing ovation that he deserves. And AJ Styles left it all out there in WWE. But has he emptied the tank? Because there's still two names left on the list.